Hello again everyone, Adzi here, we're back on the workbench, so welcome back to the channel. I've got one of the SEMA Noveski M4 platforms here in front of me. Now these come quite well spec'd out of the box. It's boasting, on the website it says anyway, it's boasting 13:1 gears, a decent motor, it's got a built-in MOSFET and everything. Anyway, so quite well spec'd. However, the person that owns this one has asked me to do two things. One of them, we're going to go a little bit crazy and we're going to install a warhead motor. So he's supplied that to me to do that bit. But don't worry though, I know what you're thinking. It's got 13:1 gears. Doing that is going to be absolutely mental. Well, you're right, it probably is. However, what he has suggested we do is we throw in a Perrin hybrid V2, one of the ones with the wires that go to the rear of the AG, because that's how this one's set up. That is going to give us a little bit more control over how quick it'll actually turn, because I'm anticipating that to be relatively quick. In fact, I already know it is, because that has already got the warhead in it, because we have the original motor here. So that's all swapped over. Now the reason this video is getting put together is because it's got something that is, I suppose in some ways a bit annoying, but I'm going to show you guys a really simple fix, and that is where, because it's turning quite quick, that when we're shooting it, the power is dropping when we're expecting the faster rate of fire, and that can be both on semi and it can be on full auto. So if someone out there has done a bit of a high speed build on a gun and maybe they're seeing a bit of a drop in power on the rounds between semi and full, or maybe just a drop in power from what they were expecting overall. For example, let me show you this running on the chrono on 0.28 gram BBs. First of all, just using a, let's not have it upside down, just using a 7.4 volt battery, but then we're going to put the actual owner of the RIF, their battery, we're going to put that on there, which is an 11.1, really small print, but it's up the top here. We can tell it's an 11.1 because it's got 3 cables on there, not just the 2. Got the extra lead on there, so there you go. So 11.1. So we'll show a chrono on this, and I'll chrono on this. We'll see what happens, and then I'll show you a nice easy fix. So here we go. We've got the chrono. We've got 0.28 gram BBs for no other reason than I have an absolute abundance of the damn things. So we're going to chrono on that. Now we're going to put this through here. So this is first of all on the 7.4. We're going to do semi. Okay, so nice and consistent, absolutely fine. We'll give that a quick burst of full auto. Perfect. So that's done 17 rounds per second. We can see that on the bottom corner there. So nice and steady. So that with the speed turned down. In fact, I should probably point that out. At the minute, I've got the Perrin set to its slowest possible with the rate of fire, and there's good reason for that, and we'll cover that shortly. So that's that. What we're now going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to show you on an 11.1 and we'll see the difference. So here we go with the 11.1. And if we dare brave, a bit of full auto. Okay, so that has just done 27 rounds a second, that has. And that's with a Perrin set to its slowest. So that motor and that gear combination is absolutely insane. But the point we're getting to here is if we look at that feet per second drop, that's gone down on some of those is sub 200 now, and that's purely with the change in battery. So I'm just going to show you something really quick that you're able to do when you experience this issue. Now it could be on both semi and on full. It could be, and I've seen it before, where your semi-auto on a quicker build still fires fine, but when you switch it to full auto, you notice a power drop. So I'm going to show you something really simple, quite quick to do if you know what you're doing to open one of these up, that you can do that's going to help remedy that drop in power. So let's get this open, and then let's see, well, I'll show you what we're doing in there. And there you are, we're in. So, the reason that is dropping power is all to do with this here. Now I'd call that a delayer chip. I don't know if they have other names. The reason I call that is it delays how long the tappet plate stays back for. So that's what I call them. Now, the reason that's an issue, because as we know, as this is going to cycle, that is going to come round, that is going to pick up there, that is going to cycle all the way around. So it's going to do that absolutely fine. BB has loaded here, ready to go into the barrel. Then of course we get the pickup on the piston. That's going to come round, that's going to come round, and then that's going to go forward. That's going to start loading the BB into the barrel, ready for firing. So that's going to keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. That's then at rest, so that's made air seal will hop up by this time, hopefully. That's going to continue its cycle. It's then going to release the piston there. So that's going to come steaming forward, like that. However, what tends to happen is if you have a faster build, what's going to happen is that as that's coming, obviously your gear here is still rotating. And what tends to happen is that bit, so the delayer chip here with this kind of risen bit is going to hit this first. So what happens before this has managed to complete its cycle, pushing the BB out of the barrel, that's going to start pulling this back. What that then does, that is going to then break the air seal that is made in here. So of course that starts pulling back. The air is now leaking between here and in the hop. I don't know if you're even going to see it, it's probably way too small, but obviously where that pushes up in there, the moment that starts to pull that back, if it does that before that has completed its cycle and managed to accelerate the BB to the correct speed down the barrel, you get an air leak, and of course that is what's doing it. And in this case, I think it's doing it on both semi and on full. Sometimes you can have a build that semi will do that, and then that will stop just short of pulling that back, so the power's fine. But when you do full, because that's continually going, you'll find it will drop because it's pulling it back sooner than what it needs to. So what we are going to do, and it's very simple what we're going to do, we are literally going to take this out of here without moving the shims, because I've already done that bit. There we are, if I can get it off my finger. And then we are just going to shave off the front of this. So let me do that, and then I'll show you how different that looks. Okay, so now when we look at this, what we have is we've got this bit cut down. So do you remember there's a little bubble bit that went kind of over here? Yeah, I know, ignore that bit. I caught it slightly with the Dremel. Don't judge. I couldn't get this bit off, so I had to do it while it was on there. But what I've done, I've made it that so that it's now flush, which has reduced the amount of space it takes up on this gear. But the other thing I've done is I've made the top bit here, so this little bit, I've rounded that so that it's smooth. And the reason we've done that is if you have a sharp edge there, that's inevitably going to wear away at this. So we want everything to be nice and smooth. Now, if we put this back together, what we will see now is by the time we've done a full circle of this, so let's go as we did before, pull all that back, yada, 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 loaded the BB, that's back on its way forward. So as that comes forward, what that's going to do now is, once that piston is released, that is now going to have more time to complete its cycle before that is going to start breaking the air seal here. Now, we are only talking, we're talking fractions of seconds. But believe it or not, that is all it's going to take to make sure that that is running to the best it can with the slightly faster rate of fire. So nice, easy fix. The other thing I am half tempted to do as well, actually, whilst we're in here and we're doing this, and that is to, let's get that there, I might shorten the tail on this. And the reason I'm going to do that is that allows this to return, again, fractions of seconds earlier. So if we get it to come back, what I might do is cut the tail off like here. Just that bottom bit. So I might do that in a second. We'll clip that off. In fact, let's do that now. So literally, we're just going to grab that, pull that off, And then if I get that and just go through like that there. So we're going to do that, because what that means, if we go back in time with the gears very quickly, let's go like this. So as that comes round, so we get to there, pulling that back, as that goes, that's going to start to go forward. Still going to do it half knot, which kind of slightly lowers the BB. It just helps it be nice and smooth, supposedly. When that gets down to there, that is now, as you can see, that's going to be, again, we're talking fractions of milliseconds, fractionally ahead of itself than what it was previously, because we still had that last bit of tail. So that means that's going to be at full rest there, rather than slightly further around. And I know it is minimal, it's absolutely minimal, but that is what is required. Trust me. Let me put this back together now, and then we're going to do the same test with the chrono with the same 2 batteries. Okay, so we are back together, reassembled with the 2 little tiny modifications that we've done. So we're going to do the same test we did before. So this is the 7.4 to begin with. So let's check that out. And again, we're on 0.28 gram BBs. Now we should see 250 feet per second or thereabouts. Ready? Perfect, as we expected. Full auto. My mag needs a bit of winding. Perfect, so there we go. We've got our 17 rounds a second again with the same FPS. So nothing changed on that test. Let's swap to the 11.1. So we'll take that out and we'll put this on. Now, when we did this earlier, this dropped drastically in power. So has what I've done sorted it. I would say that's pretty good. But can it hold itself if we try full auto? Ready? Of course it can. So there we have. That has just done 27 rounds per second, and it has maintained 250 feet per second as a rough average. So I think that's job done. So now I know that is with the Perrin turned right down to minimum. So the warhead motor, the standard gears, which are 13:1, is it's a mental combination with those two, given that on the 11.1, at its minimum setting, we're getting 27 rounds per second. Now, that is where that's staying. I'm not turning that up. I'm not even going to try to see what that would run at maximum, purely because I have told the guy that this belongs to that if I do this for him with the bits that he has supplied, e.g. the motor, it's a crazy combination. I've recommended we do not run it, perhaps more than that, because 27 rounds a second is more than ample, and sometimes not even allowed on some sites. So if he does go to somewhere that is not going to allow that, you could connect a 7.4, which as we've seen in its minimal setting was 17 rounds a second. So you could reduce the Perrin's restriction on that on a lighter battery to kind of get where you want, really. So something like this is now going to do everything that you need it to do in terms of rate of fire, but I do not recommend that restriction on the rate of fire is turned off with an 11.1. God knows what it would do. It would be into the 30s. But I know we've changed a couple of bits. I've just told you the secrets of what to do on this video. There is more that would need to be done to make that feed efficiently. Now, I don't normally like doing the faster speed builds because there's just more things to go wrong with them because you're asking for more from them. However, you've had a couple of secrets from me today. I am certainly not telling you the rest of the secrets that would need to be done. Perhaps if you subscribe, stay tuned. Who knows? Might tell you in the future, might not. Who knows? But in the meantime, like the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.